The Edo State governorship election of September 21 has come and gone, with a winner declared in the person of the All Progressive Congress candidate, Mr. Monday Okpebholo. Now, reactions have been trailing the conduct of the elections, with election observers and CSOs alleging foul play and electoral process manipulation by the umpire. Now, while the election has been hailed as largely peaceful, despite real or perceived irregularities, questions have also been raised as to why and how the ruling party in Edo State, the PDP, lost the elections. Observers, for instance, note that the PDP in the election run-up showed little or no faith in the process, creating the impression that it would lose either rightly or wrongly. And then there were the serial intra-party intrigues and wrangling within the other major contenders, including the Labour Party, which all seemed to work to the advantage of the winning party, the APC, despite that the party also had its own fair share of internal intrigues. Our satellite this afternoon on BCOS Oluyole 98.5 FM will be reviewing the polls as we dwell specifically on the topic Edo governorship election between people's will and party politics. Now, my guest on the program this afternoon is actually still being expected. We received a call from him. He's held up somewhere around Moniya where his vehicle broke down. And I'm talking about Dr. Laolu Adepoju. He is a public affairs analyst, a social commentator, and a member of the political class. He's also a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Hopefully, he would join us before we end the program. But pending that, I have a very versatile colleague here with me in the studio, and we will be joining on the Edo State governorship elections. Yes, joining. We will be sharing our thoughts and views on the Edo governorship election pending the arrival of Dr. Adepoju. Seun Oyelowo, yes, Seun Oyelowo. Yes, it's no stranger to our teaming audience, our highly esteemed audience there. And good to have you on Searchlight Show.
It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be on the program Searchlight today. Thank you very much, Tola Teriwa. I appreciate.
Well, I'll fire the first short show as we go down to business. And I'm talking about the Edo governorship elections. For me, Show, the PDP, which is the ruling party in the state, from its body language, like I said earlier, and serial comments, did not seem to have much faith in the electoral process and seemed to know that it would lose. Well, for me, they seem to have already considered defeat while picking holes in the credibility of the election, even before it held. And I'm wondering, why is this?
Well, it's not far-fetched, the reasons, I must say. And you must understand that in every contest, the parties involved must have done their own homework in terms of also a pre-election evaluation, feeling the pulse of these people, the society, the electorates, looking at their strongholds. They must have conducted some level of opinion poll. They must have also looked at the possibility of manipulation. They look at their own strength and areas of weakness. They must have considered all of this. They must also factor in the forces, known or speculative, the forces that could hinder their chances of electoral victory. So they must have put all these things into consideration before the actual election. So based on their own findings, you could see signals through their own reactions to issues. And specifically, you mentioned the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Let's be mindful of the fact that there is the incumbent party. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, is of the PDP extraction. And you have a candidate of that party. Many will believe that that party appears to be formidable, and the wherewithal in terms of resources must be at the disposal of that party, because that's the ruling party in the state, to perhaps influence, mobilize, do a very thorough campaign and convincing. And some equally believe that the incumbent governor had performed creditably to a large extent. So based on that, that should be a selling point to him.
So why were they jittery if it was about the people? If it was all about the people,
from their body language, they appeared jittery, and that's obvious. When you have a political party who refused to sign the peace accord, and you have respected personalities sharing that movement. You have Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar, former head of state of this country, and other well-meaning Nigerians, notable Nigerians. They approached the parties involved to sign that peace accord. And by putting pen to paper, it's an indication, although not a guarantee, that peace will prevail. But it's an indication that you are willing to abide by the rules and ensure that peace prevail. But the People's Democratic Party, the ruling party, failed to sign that peace accord. That's unexpected. You thought it's the opposition that would want to shy away from engaging in such activity.
I know we are wondering what that meant when they refused to sign the peace accord.
Yes,
I was wondering.
By interpretation and perception, it could mean many things. Perhaps they were also mobilizing protests. They were mobilizing to disrupt the process.
Well,
perhaps they knew that their loss was imminent, and they had to do everything.
Oh, to win sympathy.
To win sympathy or to frustrate the process. And some will give a sort of mathematics to attempt to scuttle the process or to hinder the seamless operations of the umpire. You saw the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, went to the collation center uninvited. And you wonder, yes, is the sitting governor, is the current governor of Edo State, is the chief security officer of the state, but he has no business, ideally, in that. He's highly partisan. What is going well, what is not going well. He alleged that the electoral process, the collation process was stopped, and he had to prevail on the powers that be, the umpire, to continue the process. You don't have to be physically present at the INEC office if you are not going there to intimidate or to influence the process. These are recognized constitutional bodies and perhaps people of proven integrity. You must allow them to do their job. You are not the only party involved until it was obviously embarrassed out of the collation center. A sitting governor. He should know better and act better. That's a shame.
Well, it's a politician. Embarrassment could be their second nature sometimes. I'm also looking at this angle of the way things have turned out, and I feel Governor Baseki's fallout with his estranged deputy did influence the course of the polls. My opinion here, it is said that Mr. Philip Shaibu was actually the politician, while Governor Baseki was merely the opportunistic technocrat who reneged on a gentleman's agreement that should have seen Mr. Shaibu as his anointed successor. That was what led to their fallout in the first place. Now, recall Mr. Shaibu was impeached, though instated by the courts, but he never hid his subsequent open support for the APC in the final run-up to the election. So I think, maybe Mr. Basaki fired several shots at his own foot, and albeit without knowing that position seems to make you think that you are the only one that you can do anything.
I agree with you. Absolutely. You see, when they have this position, they have the immunity that has translated to impunity. They have this toga of arrogance.
Rascality.
Yes.
I've not called him a rascal, though.
That is the obvious expression and exhibition from most of these excellencies. Because they have the immunity, they behave like thin gods. They believe that they have all the executive powers and all the powers you can imagine, and whatever they do is final. So in the process, they rose through a particular ladder, a structure. But when they get to the top, they destroy the ladder. Most times, they destroy the ladder. Not knowing that when they have to come down, they will also need the ladder. Or those who put the ladder together could also create their eventual fall. And when you fall without the ladder, you know that will be highly embarrassing.
Well, majorly they think they are building the ladder, when they begin to throw off the very vital rungs of the ladder, very vital stepping rungs. They use their foot, they step on it, and then they remove. So they actually think they are building the ladder. They are not conscious of the fact that the ladder is being destroyed. So when they have to come down, they come crashing.
Yes.
Because there is nothing more to step on.
Yes, you are right. And that's what we've seen in different states, and Edo State inclusive. That has been observed recently when you reflect on the outcome of the Edo State election. We must credit one personality in Edo State, and that is Comrade Senator Adams Oshiomhole, former governor of the state, current senator in Edo State. He appears to be the political godfather, and he was able to build a political family, a structure that some of these people rode on to become what they are today. And it remains a force to reckon with in Edo State, especially Edo State politics. Give it to Adams Oshiomhole. Adams Oshiomhole single-handedly picked Godwin Obaseki. Perhaps not the grassroots politicians at that time. A technocrat, they sold the idea of, you need an economist, someone who is robust in knowledge and administrative prowess, not a core politician, to steer the ship of Edo State. At the time, Oshiomhole brought in Obaseki against the wish of his political family. You know, when you have a political family and some will be waiting in line, thinking that, well, I'm the next in line.
It's my turn.
It's my turn.
Just as Shaibu thought it was his turn.
Yes, God bless you. But Oshiomhole went to pick Obaseki from obscurity. Obaseki was not really known in Edo State when he was picked. And it was packaged to power. Kudos to Oshiomhole. Obaseki was packaged to power. He got there for whatever reasons. Well, the house became so hostile and very hot for the duo to dwell in amicably, and the fracas happened, and it was irreconcilable differences, and that led to their separation and division. You should expect that when such occurs, some people who are loyal to Oshiomhole will have to follow him, and Obaseki started building his own political camp. And recall, Philip Shaibu, that was also one of the boys of Oshiomhole, quote and unquote.
Grassroots politician.
Well, in his own area. It's not, when you talk of Edo State, they has 3 senatorial districts. The senatorial district that Shaibu belongs to, he appears to be a grassroots politician mobilizer. Yes, undoubtedly.
Well, it seems to be much bigger than that.
No, I will tell you, other forces, other prominent politicians helped Monday Okwebolo.
Yes, other grassroots political
to become the governor of Edo State, or the governor-elect as it is now.
Some of them outrightly left the PDP,
yes,
again due to the fallout with Governor Godwin Obaseki.
And as what takes us to the level of arrogance and believing that you are the Alpha and Omega, not considering that some of your subordinates could play critical role in your emergence, and they still hold sway, they still hold the ace in their respective domain. Politics is about ability to mobilize within your vicinity, and it's local. Every politics is local. So you need those gladiators at the community level, at the ward level, to mobilize for you. As a governor, you are resident in Benin City, you cannot be in Auchi, you cannot be in Ekpoma, you cannot be in all the regions of the state at the same time. You need foot soldiers. The foot soldiers are the politicians at the grassroots level. But it appeared that Obaseki fought these people, and as many as you could imagine.
They were supposed to be his eyes and ears, but
Yes.
then I'm wondering, didn't he replace those eyes and ears when he found the ones you were...
You want to regrade, you replace some people that are really formidable.
Yeah, no one is indispensable.
No one is indispensable, but you must face the consequences. And it is the consequences that is affecting Obaseki now. You want to bring in green horns, those who are not well groomed in the arena of politics, those who are opportunists, whom you just, because you had to replace some people you had issues with, you just give them those chances. They were not thorough, formidable politicians, and you think within the space of a month, 2 months, a year, they will be able to have mobilized like the core politicians that have been with the people for decades. It's impossible. So Obaseki fought different battles. He was perhaps extremely arrogant. He thought he was a god on his own, and he could unilaterally control affairs of things in Edo politics and even the party. He fought his deputy, fought many other people who could have helped him, and it appeared at the long run that it was a political gang up against him. They ganged up against him, and they threw their support for Monday Okpebholo.
So he wasn't the one running for the seat, but his actions rubbed off on Asue Ighodalo, the candidate of the PDP. But talking about those
it was like the image, and perhaps
he was.
Asue Ighodalo was just a shadow. So the shadow can't overreach the image. Yes, on paper you have the PDP and Ighodalo on the ballot, but what people see is Obaseki.
It's Obaseki that was actually defeated.
Yes. So, and if you have this affection with many people, the level of acrimony is so high within the political camp, and even people within the society and the traditional institution, as reported, you may not have a headway, and that may not guarantee you electoral victory. You have many foes than friends, and I think that affected the chances of the PDP in Edo State.
Well, talking about those that helped the PDP to lose the elections, and by extension, Governor Obaseki and his anointed candidate Asue Ighodalo. So let's talk about the real or perceived role of the FCT minister in all these. It was actually reported to have rebuffed a last-minute effort by Governor Obaseki to make amends for past political differences between them and seek his support for the anointed Asue Ighodalo. Mr. Wike is said to have actually influenced the course of the poll in favor of the APC, just like he did during the last presidential election in the country. I'm still wondering, and I'm sure it's not only me, many Nigerians are baffled as to what is this iron grip on the party by Mr. Wike, despite glaring anti-party activities, and why has the party not shown him the exit door? I do not know. One of the questions I was banking on asking Dr. Oluyole if he had been here, being an insider, maybe he would know. Someone said that, and I think that is very correct, that it is actually the party leaders that would have to leave for Mr. Wike rather than the other way around. And he's not alone in this what appears to be this anti-party issue we are talking about. I still don't get it, this iron grip. Is it about his financial muscle? Is it about his closeness to the ordinary people? And even beyond his own river state now,
Thank you. I'm still trying it difficult to decipher the role that Nyesom Wike, as an individual, as a card-carrying member of the PDP, a former aspirant of the PDP at the presidential level. He fought to get the presidential candidature of the PDP, and he didn't get that. And thereafter, he promised to help the party to lose the election, which he made to his threat. He did that.
He said he was fighting on the basis of principle, that geo-ethnic balancing, they called it at the time.
One individual cannot be bigger than the party. It's not about you. Democracy is about majority vote.
If
the consensus within your party is that power should go to the north, or your candidate should come from a particular region, well, you ordinarily, because you've subscribed to that party, ideally should accept it. And if you are not ready to accept such, you have the freedom of leaving the party. Anything contrary to what the position of the party is could be termed anti-party activity, and that's the way it is in the real sense. Or else we want to play politics with it. It's anti-party activity when you don't abide by the consensus and position of your party, especially the formidable organs constitutionally recognized of your party.
Well, we're not politicians, so maybe we do not know the definition of anti-party activities. Maybe it's not related.
They were just jittery and perhaps too weak to apply the disciplinary measures and wield the big stick on someone who has been tormenting the party, who professes to be a card-carrying member, whose spirit and soul may not be in the party, as alleged, whose image or effigy is only in the party. So you have one leg in and the other leg out. You have him also under the opposition party administration as the FCT minister. That's a very sensitive position. You must have some sort of relationship, cordial one, with the opposition party before you are offered such appointment.
It's not one leg in, one leg out. It's the body in and the spirit
out.
Somewhere else.
So you can imagine. And I think the hierarchy of the party and the stakeholders within the PDP are not bereft of this. They have seen this clearly, or else they are not telling themselves the absolute truth about the situation or where Nyesom Wike belongs to. Well, but Nyesom Wike is from Rivers State, a former governor of Rivers State, former presidential aspirant of the PDP. He held many, I can't mention 1, 2, 3, former leadership of the PDP to assume power. You talk of Uche Secondus, you talk of Damagun, you talk of even Iyocha Ayu. Nyesom Wike, well, as reported, I'm not too sure, gave the moral, financial, spiritual, and all the support that you could think of. So, by such, he appears to hold the party at its jugular. He appears to have greater influence than imagined in the PDP. And that's why he brags confidently about his position and his influence. And recently he said that he is going to set the states of the governors that seems not to align with his position on fire. That's highly, provocative somehow and unexpected from a statesman, someone who should know better and act better. When you subject that to interpretation, setting states on fire could mean a lot, and that's devastating. But having said that, Edo is not Rivers. He is not the current governor of Rivers State. We have another sheriff in town, in Sasimilalayi Fubara. If it comes to resources, funds, because Rivers is oil rich.
Oh, it's Mr. Wike's puppet.
Who? Fubara. Well, they are estranged now.
He was supposed to.
They are estranged now, and the expectation is that Fubara could also at least draw some funds from the coffers of wherever they've been getting the money from in Rivers State to also finance the elections of Edo State if they are truly in support of Obaseki and the candidate. So, and I think it's a sign of weakness on Obaseki to have approached Nyesom Wike, who has not hidden his dissatisfaction and opposition to your party, the PDP. He had said that openly. And Wike is just taking them on a cruise. He just, using them. It's a mockery of the system and the party. He's just using them to brag. I mean, the PDP. You went to him when you've called him unprintable names, when you gave the impression that he is the one troubling your party. If you are man enough, you shouldn't go to such person because it's like a known enemy to the party. Why go to him Why be called
He is officially a member
at
of the
night
party.
and you appear out during the daytime? It's hypocritical.
Remember the BOT also went to him recently. They were trying to mend them fences. So,
You're giving the impression of a larger than life personality. Yes, that's what you are doing.
oh, the program
It could have impacted maybe one way or the other the outcome of the election, because he told us, I mean, yes, on Wiki, he said that I supported you once. I gave you all the platform and the cover,
all I got was
but you
insult.
failed me. You insulted me. This time around, I won't support you. And it appears his refusal to support caused the PDP the loss. And not only that of Yeson Wiki, but other political gladiators in Edo State who failed to support Obaseki.
Well, the program is still Searchlight on Oluyole 98.5 FM, and we are looking at Edo governorship election between people's will and party politics. We are still expecting Dr. Laulu Adepoju is our guest on the program this afternoon. Well, we got a call from him. He was held up somewhere in Monia where his vehicle developed a fault. We are still hoping that he will join us before the program runs away. In the meantime, it's been me and Seun Oyelowo join on the Edo governorship election. We'll take this short break and we'll be right back. The program is still Searchlight and would very much like you, our teaming audience, to be a part of the program. The number to call is 080-5500-9850. 080-5500-9850. The topic is Edo governorship election between people's will and party politics. Now, Sean, there are also insinuations which I also tend to see. It looks to me like the people of Edo State never voted for party, but rather on the basis of individual trust and credibility. Now, we all know from the results who they were willing to trust. And I do not know if this is an emerging trend in the course of future elections. Well, we actually have been seeing this trend in pockets of elections. Even I'm talking about the last year's general elections in some areas where, well, I do not know. So, do you think this could be an emerging trend? Do you think we're going to be seeing more of this in future elections? My opinion, I think Nigerians are now more politically aware, now more politically conscious, and it might not, after all, be about the party. It might not even be about the structure. It might not even be about the individuals. I also hear that Monday Pebulu, well, I don't know, maybe across the country it might not be too well known, but Ireland is a darling of people in Edo State. I don't know how true. I've not been there, Sean.
Information that I am privy to indicates that Monday Okpebolo of the All Progressives Congress, perhaps not a core politician, has been a very wealthy businessman. And he's been one way or the other supporting political initiatives and candidates in previous elections. You know, you have the money bags that bankrolls your elections or your campaigns. So he's been so generous. But when the opportunity presented itself, he was called upon and eventually won the seat to the Senate and won in that election. So he remains a senator. Senator Monday Okpebolo. And when the APC was to present a candidate, you recall that they had this back and forth and a very shameful primaries before they were able to put their own house in order. Even Adams Oshiomhole, a senator and the godfather, initially did not support Monday Okpebolo until he was prevailed upon. And I give kudos to the All Progressives Congress for the amicable internal dispute resolution that appears to be robust and more advanced than that of the opposition parties. They were able to put their house in order quickly. And you saw the level of solidarity, mobilization from all the structures involved, from all the notable politicians of the APC extraction in Edo State. Adams of Shomole were there, those who they come from the PDP, Dan Obi and others, Philip Shuaibu. They were quick to mobilize and show solidarity to the candidate of the APC. They believe, not a core politician, they had to support him. And one, shame Godwin Obaseki. Shame Godwin Obaseki. When it comes to personality, and you know you mentioned personality and party, the one that perhaps prevailed in this last election. When you look at a general perception of the All Progressives Congress, and that is the truth. You know, I will always say the truth. From the opinion poll, from the interactions we've had with numerous Nigerians from different parts of this country, they believe that the current economic woes and the hardship and failure, perceived failure of government and the pervasive poverty that they are subjected to now, excruciating pain, is as a result of bad governance and the failure of those who are the handlers of the economy currently.
Who have APC extraction.
Who have APC extraction.
So
that is the bottom line. So you wonder how the APC, that they appear not satisfied with their pattern of governance, eventually won in Edo State. You see, two things I must say. Yes, political parties are very important. They remain platforms for candidates to actualize their political ambition. So you cannot remove the place of political parties. And how formidable your party is in terms of structure, that's where party structure comes in. You have those who are card-carrying members of this party, and you have the major parties. And the APC appears to be a very formidable party in Edo State, and in many other states at the national level too. So you have the PDP too, also a formidable party. You have the one that they are coming up, that could be seen as a third force, but unfortunately they appear not to be any force.
Well, they have retained that formidability despite the times.
Yes, despite the perception of the people that may not be too.
Who will be the ones to vote? That's what I.
Now that's why it's not just about political party alone, or the party that gave you the platform. I told you, party is about platform, and I think that shows the level of political maturity on the part of the Edo State electorate. They were able to decipher. Look, is anything wrong with a party? No, and I tell you absolutely, nothing is wrong with any party. There is no party that has its manifestos that is effective, that stipulates that what we give to you is hunger, hardship, and economic woes, and all manner of criminalities and untoward happenings. No,
because they won't tell you the
constitution of the party that even stipulates that. They have on paper very brilliant ideas.
And they won't tell you to tighten your belts when
they will even promise you heaven on earth through their manifestos. All the political parties, and you have similarity. You know, affiliation to political party is not based on ideology. It's just a matter of which one can really satisfy my ambition.
They all said they would remove subsidy.
They all said that. So you talk of the workforce, the Labour Party failed woefully, 22,000 votes or thereabout. Some votes higher than 22,000. That's too far. Distant third compared to the runner-up. That's very shameful. Upon all the but let's leave that.
All the noise.
So they came distant third. That's not. In Monday Okwebolo, a senator, after his philanthropic gesture to candidates in extending support to communities in Edo State, he became a senator and he performed creditably, to the best of my knowledge. In fact, it was like a competitor, a rival to the current governor in Edo State. Although he was restricted to his own political structure and a senatorial district. But the people of the senatorial district could brag and boast, in Monday Okwebolo we trust. So it was like a perfect choice. No local government chairman, no a representative of the people at the House of Representatives, no a senator, maybe a technocrat that was also unpicked by the governor, Godwin Obaseki, the way he was equally unpicked by Oluyole. And you see, political maturity on the part of the Edo electorate, they knew what they wanted. Yes. And they knew that it's not about party. It's a ST generalization where you say party A is bad, party B is bad. Nothing is as a political family. Talk of Ize Yamu, talk of Ekpobolo, talk of Philip Shaibu, talk of Godwin Obaseki, talk of the likes of them. They had disagreement, fell out, and perhaps some of them wanted to outsmart their leader. That's how they were able to defect and got whatever they want or wanted at that time. Philip Shaibu also, quote and unquote, some will call it betrayal, but had issues with the principal then and his boss, Adams Oluyole, until when he was also whipped the same way others were whipped, and with the same stick, perhaps a bigger one. That was when he ran back to Oluyole. But by and large, the political gang up, the credibility of the candidate Monday Okpebolo, and the formidability
days ahead. And I'm wondering if that also was not a factor. Maybe those that had the highest amount to give away. But aside that, I'm also looking at this, President Tinubu, in his reaction to the Edo governorship poll outcome, said that the results lend credence to the people's acceptance of the APC's policies and ideals. I'm not talking about party manifesto now, but the current reforms. I believe that was what President Tinubu was referring to when he mentioned the APC's policies and ideals in governance, especially these reforms that we have all found so unpalatable. Now, not very many Nigerians are happy with these policies and ideals, as Mr. President called it, well, either because of the harshness of those policies or because they do not understand the long-term promises of better times. So I'm wondering, again, my thoughts here, should it be those same worrisome ideals that the people of Edo State should be looking forward to as Mr. Monday Okpebolo digs in as the new helmsman of the state? So should I say I'm worried for the people of Edo State? I'm not writing off the Tinubu government. Nothing like that. I'm also waiting for better times to come.
It appears to be a double barrel question. Let's look at the first part. Can you just remind me of that first part before you
the
went to that of Mr. President?
Okay, the president talking about, that was the second part.
Yes.
And we also said that many Nigerians are not happy with the at times brought about by the harsh economic reforms of the APC, and we are wondering at why the people of Edo State voted an APC candidate.
Okay. Good. I think we've established that is not just about the party that gave you the platform. Party structures are just platforms. The name PDP, APC, LP, ABGA, these are just platforms, mere platforms for you to actualize.
Okay, we also spoke about vote buying.
Okay, vote buying, yes. Thank you. Vote buying. You see, we must condemn in its totality, in its entirety, in the scenario or phenomenon of vote buying. Yes, it's antithetical to the ideals of a thorough democracy. Yes, when it comes to true representation and a true reflection of the wishes and aspirations of the people or their choices, it should be done in a seamless way based on conscience and choice, not through inducement, especially vote buying. So we condemn that if it actually happened at the large scale in Edo State. But I have not read report of it on a large scale in Edo State. What is being reported and from observation and from the people I've called, I have many friends from Edo State that have been able, and I monitored the process keenly when that was ongoing, the election and even prior to the election. I realized that the electorates in Edo State conducted and comported themselves in a brilliant way, very applaudable. They were so civil, they were so peaceful. Yes, because prior to the election, we had that gave room for prediction of doomsday and bloodbath. Some thought that the election day would be filled with violence and characterized with all manners of insecurity and bloodletting.
Thank goodness it wasn't.
But thankfully, that didn't happen. And that shows the maturity, the civility, the patriotism on the part of the Edo State electorate. But we must also say that voter apathy occurred in that state. That's one. Vote buying. I don't know if it's large scale. It's not being reported to be on a large scale. But when it comes to inducement, the vote buying comes in different ways. Prior to the election, where you go and say, is it transformer that you need in this area? I will give you transformer. And you provided that even before the election. You are one way or the other, directly or indirectly, trying to sway the voters, trying to entice them. The things you've seen and neglected for years, it is now convenient for you to provide it when you wanted their vote. So it's a matter of inducement and vote buying. Vote buying comes in different manners.
So there was a politician in one.
It is not on the D-Day when they distribute money to prospective voters. No. Some parties are so clever that they've even done the vote buying prior to the election. They've settled everybody. They've mobilized enough. So it's not on election. The DFCC were on ground. Other anti-graft agencies were on ground on that day, perhaps to apprehend those who indulged in vote buy or distribution of cash. How many were arrested? So it wasn't on a large scale.
Community. when they laughed that they did vote for him at Old State.
That shows that it was not done in good faith. It was not a kind gesture, but it was done to get something in return. And when that failed, the person conveniently went to grab whatever he had given to those communities. So wrong, so bad. And that person should never be trusted with power again. That's my own conclusion. So vote buying comes in different ways. But you buy votes where you are a bit popular. And when you've weaponized poverty, when you've impoverished the people, when the economy is not so good, their standard of living so poor, whatever you throw at them or you damn good before them, they grab. If it's 1,000 or 2, even if it's a plate of rice or beans, because many can't even afford 3 square meals per day. It's the level of failure of governance and how abyss the system is. The dungeon that have replaced many Nigerians, Edo State residents inclusive. So if you talk of vote buying, don't blame those who bought the votes or who sold their votes. It's because of the hardship. But I think it wasn't on a large scale.
Some arrests were
skirmishes
made by the EFCC.
Yes, isolated cases. They conducted themselves peacefully. And you have the reports from observers. And you see, you have to subject these observer groups to some scientific evaluation and perhaps personal investigation. Because some of them are highly partisan. Highly partisan. Some of them mobilized before the election. They've been compromised. They won't give the true state of event because they remain partisan. So we cannot stand on that. You have divergent or contrary reports. Some will tell you that the election was credible and perhaps the best election in the history of the country. And others will tell you that it was marred with all manners of irregularities. The PDP has been kicking, lamenting, and it's been wide jubilation in the camp of the APC. Now to the second part, and that's the perhaps self-aggrandizement that comes from the President of the nation. With due respect to His Excellency the President, His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, to say that your policies or the outlook of your party, the perception, is what gave that electoral victory. That is fallacious. I think you are sleeping on the wheel. You have to feel the pulse of the society. You have to seek the opinion and extrapolation of majority of Nigerians, especially those who are largely affected by the unprecedented poverty and sufferings and economic woes of this time. Don't be fooled, Mr. President. You must do the needful. The image and goodwill that you enjoyed